Hello movie lovers. Today I'd like to continue on with my discussions of the films of 1972. 50 years ago, what were movies like then? How did I react to movies in 1972 versus today, which has been a lot of fun for me personally. This month I'm doing Hollywood auteurs, film directors who are, some of them are classics, some of them are newer. And today I'm going to talk about a comedy, What's Up, Doc? And this is Peter Bogdanovich's third feature film. It stars Barbra Streisand and Ryan O'Neal. And Ryan O'Neal is playing an absent-minded professor. He's a musicologist in some obscure study of rocks. He's a finalist for a grant. And so he and his fiancee come to San Francisco to a conference where the final decision is going to be made. Yeah, as I say, he has his fiancée in tow, but really the fiancée has him in tow. He seems lost. He doesn't know where he's going. She has to sort of point him in the right direction. She's very overbearing, but he seems to take it all in stride. But then he in the hotel where they're staying, he meets this free-spirited girl who takes one look at him and just instantly falls in love with him and insinuates herself into his life, even posing as his fiancée. And madcap adventures ensue. And they also involve these 4 plaid suitcases. One of them has rocks in them, one of them has diamonds in them, one of them is loaded with top secrets, one of them is Barbra Streisand's character's own clothes. They get juggled around from room to room in this hotel. They're being, the people who have them are being pursued by other people that want to get them. And we never really can figure out, as these plaid suitcases go from room to room, we can't even figure out what suitcase is which. Although in the commentary, Peter Bogdanovich says that they did stick to a very precise logic to them. So if you watch the film more than once and you want to follow these suitcases, Buck Henry really worked diligently in order to accomplish that goal. The film is obviously a tribute to a lot of Hollywood screwball comedies, but in most particular Bringing Up Baby, where we have the same sort of dynamic where Cary Grant was playing a professor, a paleontologist, zoologist who is searching for his intercostal clavicle bone. He is totally enmeshed in his profession. He has a fiancée. She wants him to be boxed into that profession. Then he meets another free-spirited woman, played by Katharine Hepburn. So, but I think to say the film, What's Up, Doc, goes off in all other different directions, even though we have the basic premise, and we have a few situations along the way that are homages to Bringing Up Baby. But Bringing Up Baby had a sense of logic to it. It too was madcap, and it had a sort of arc to it where this professor learns the value of having fun in life. Katharine Hepburn, he decides that this was the most fun he ever had, even though he's been exasperated by her throughout the whole movie. He comes to that realization at the end. And we don't really have that kind of arc in this film. We just sort of go at a frantic pace from one comic piece of shtick to another. It's really more like a cartoon. It's frantic. It harkens back to silent comedies, Buster Keaton, Laurel and Hardy, the Keystone Cops. We have a very elaborate chase scene at the end. Lots of inside jokes. It's filmed in San Francisco and very well filmed in San Francisco. So we have in the car chase we have cars coming up over the top of the hill and then coming down hard on the in tribute to Bullitt. There's another, Barbara Streisand's character is called Judy, so we have a scene where, where Ryan O'Neal's looking for her and goes, Judy, 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 which supposedly Cary Grant, it always, the comedians always, Judy, Judy, Judy. But I don't think he ever said that in a film. And we get, Ryan O'Neal had a great success with Love Story. And so they used the line, love means never having to say you're sorry, with a twinkle in the eye. But one might say that, that Streisand succeeds in her role. She's not really playing Katharine Hepburn. She's playing the Katharine Hepburn part from What's Up, Doc, but she has her own certain comic style to her, and she looks fabulous in this movie. The restoration of What's Up, Doc looks great. This is an older Blu-ray, but it looks terrific. But Ryan O'Neal he doesn't, I mean, you know, comedy is a subjective thing. You laugh at some things, you laugh at some you don't. But Ryan O'Neal is playing a character that's lost, but he himself looks lost. He doesn't have the, you know, it's way too hard to tell an actor, you know, to play Cary Grant. No one can play Cary Grant. And Bogdanovich even sent Ryan O'Neal to go visit Cary Grant to get some tips on how, you know how to move, and they do incorporate some of Cary Grant's physicality into the movie, but it just, to me at least, it doesn't work. Now, if you see, not only is comedy subjective, but when you see comedy with an audience versus seeing comedy alone sitting on your couch, that's a big difference. So if I had seen this film with an audience last night rather than watching it by myself, I might have laughed a lot more than I did. And I got to say, there are some pretty funny moments in the movie. And I especially like the conceit of the Barbara Streisand character, even though she seems totally wacky. She is a lifetime college student, so she goes from one college to another, gets a degree in all kinds of things. And the best joke, and I'll give away, there's so many jokes in the movie that, you know, just giving away one isn't going to make too much difference. But she turns out to know a whole lot about Ryan O'Neal's obscure specialty in musicology, and comes to his aid more than once in displaying this knowledge, and that's pretty funny. It also ends with the proverbial Hollywood courtroom scene, and I didn't write the actor's name down. He's not a famous actor, but you probably would recognize him. And he was not actually an actor. I think he was a casting agent, but he is hilarious as the judge, and in tribute to so many of these crazy, zany screwball comedies that you couldn't sort things out. You have to bring them to court to sort it all out. And the film is also very much aided by the contributions of the supporting cast. So we have Kenneth Mars, who had played one of the Nazis in Mel Brooks's The Producers. He's doing a satire on the film critic John Simon, who everybody disliked, and he was one of those really snobbish. He never liked hardly any movies. He loved to put down actors in very cruel ways. So he's doing sort of Eastern European accent. He isn't as funny as I remember him being, but there's still some funny moments, especially in his scenes with Austin Pendleton, who plays the wealthy man who is responsible for choosing who is going to get the grant. Kenneth Mars playing Ryan O'Neal's adversary. He's the other finalist. Mostly, I think, Madeline Kahn. This is Madeline Kahn's first movie, and she plays the fiance, and she is absolutely hilarious in some of her scenes. She catches. She's not playing anybody but herself, and but all in all, this is really in Bogdanovich's period of his early career, so much of a pastiche of films that he's seen, filmmakers that he's written about. Why does he want to make the film? He wants to make the film so that he can incorporate all these things he loved in other films into his film. But why does he want to make the film? It's probably one of the reasons why I'm never really drawn back to Bogdanovich's movies much. I think I've only seen What's Up, Doc one time since 1972. And I think a lot of the reason is that he's not making films that really that mean anything to him as an artist. He's making films that mean something as a film historian. Let's do this bit, let's do that bit. But I may be harsh, I may be overly harsh on Bogdanovich because he made a lot of films and I've only seen all of them pretty much. I've only seen one time. Like I say, I've never drawn back. There might be more to his career than what I'm seeing, and certainly he is always capable of getting terrific performances out of his actors, even if I think he probably miscast Ryan O'Neal in this film. But Ryan O'Neal was a big star, you know, so it was box office. This was a big box office hit. And while Bogdanovich was making the film, he just started making the film, shooting it. The last picture show had premiered with fantastic reviews, so he was in a very good mood, and that good mood is there. This is hijinks. This is whether you buy into the pastiche nature of the film or not. This is certainly high-spirited, and there is a commentary with Bogdanovich, and as always, he has some good stories to tell. He's a big-time name dropper. Frank Capra told me this. Orson Welles told me this. And as he was making, one point that I didn't know was, since he was making this film as sort of a tribute to screwball comedies, of which Howard Hawks was, you know, sort of like in on the creation of the screwball comedy era. And Howard Hawks was still alive. He took the film to show to Hawks. Hawks loved it, he said. And John Ford, another Peter Bogdanovich idol, came to the set where most of this was filmed in San Francisco, both interiors and exteriors, but they did film some on the studio lot. And Ford, according to Bogdanovich, came to the set, and Bogdanovich saw him as some sort of god. So Ryan O'Neal and Barbara Streisand kissed his ring. And this was the courtroom set. And he said, boy, that judge is pretty funny, which he is. Okay. Thanks a lot for everybody who managed to listen. What's Up, Doc is, you know, always worth a look-see. It does have some laughs in it for sure, even for me. So next up, I think I'm going to do Junior Bonner next. That just came. Yeah, that was just delivered yesterday at Sam Peckinpah. I still have Frenzy, Alfred Hitchcock, and I have The King of Marvin Gardens, which is Bob Rafelson. Okay, thanks a lot for everybody who managed to listen. I do appreciate it. Comments are welcome. Take care.